service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily Podcast is a service of CNC News and brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 area companies with business solutions since 1984. Well, the first Niagara Fringe Festival is underway in Rochester with 360 performances. Half of them are free, and they're in 28 different venues around the city. If you're going downtown Friday night, here's a look at one of the things you'll see. This is Bandaloop, the vertical dance company. They were setting up at the HSBC building at Chestnut and Court Streets earlier this week, and then here they are in rehearsal on Thursday afternoon, drawing a crowd and stopping traffic. Bandaloop uses the three-dimensional space above the sidewalk for a mix of dance, rappelling, and rock wall climbing. They were a great hit at the first festival last year and were one of the first groups to be asked back. They perform Friday night at 8 and Saturday at 4, and you'll catch them from Manhattan Square Park, probably for the best view. New Yorkers have a refund coming on their electric bills thanks to a massive price-fixing settlement between the federal government and Constellation Energy. New York's Public Service Commission has decided more than half the state's share of that settlement money should be refunded directly to the customers through credits on their monthly bills. In all, New York's 6 investor-owned utility companies will be distributing $48 million back to their ratepayers. RG&E customers will share $2.3 million, NYSEG customers $4.8 million. The refunds will show up on electric bills shortly after the companies get the funds. And this comes about because the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission accused Constellation of manipulating the wholesale electricity market for New York and 2 other states in order to force up prices. Constellation ended up having to pay the government a $110 million penalty, which has been divided between those 3 states. And New York's PSC has ordered that more than half of New York's share goes directly back to the guys who paid the bills. Rochester General Health Systems and Clifton Springs Hospital are moving to a partnership that will fully integrate the Ontario County Hospital into the RGHS system. They're not calling it a merger, but a partnership. They say it benefits both companies. RGHS runs Rochester General Hospital. CEO Mark Clement said Rochester General moves forward on building a regional healthcare delivery system, and Clifton Springs is better able to deal with the changing landscape of healthcare. Regional agreements like this one are one of the hottest trends in the hospital and healthcare industry these days. RGHS affiliated with Newark Wayne Community Hospital in 2007. Clifton Springs CEO said he and his board have been impressed with how well that has worked out. An 81-year-old Town of Ontario man is dead. He ran through a stop sign and was hit by another car Thursday evening in Wayne County. State police said Murray Thompson was driving on Kenyon Road when he drove through the intersection of Knickerbocker Road without stopping and was hit broadside by an SUV driven by Lindsay Schaefer, also of Ontario. Thompson was pronounced dead at Strong Memorial Hospital. Schaefer and her 3 children were also treated at Strong, but for minor injuries. Customers catching a movie at the Regal Ridgeculver Theaters Friday night will notice some changes after fights between groups of young people forced the theaters to shut down last Friday. Arundecoit's supervisor, Mary Joyce DeRizio, said the plan starts with more visible police presence by the town.
The police department for the 3rd platoon is going to have 3 cars visibly in the parking lot so that they will be visible for the evening, and then other cars will be dispatched at additional times during the evening. They, too, have other security measures in line, as I said, that I can't tell you.
Inside Regal Theaters is adding security guards. The company has also agreed to limit the number of people allowed in each theater. There were 400 or more teens packed into the auditorium where the fight started last Friday during a showing of Insidious Chapter 2. DeRizio said Regal Theaters management will also be physically present for screenings of violent or horror movies like Insidious so they can respond more quickly if there is a repeat of last week's trouble. The theater problem has become a political issue. Adam Bello, the Democrat challenging DiRiso in the fall election, said much more needs to be done to hold Regal Theaters responsible for the security of its business. DiRiso said courts have ruled local governments can't legally impose curfews or restrictions of that sort on businesses. She said Arundecoit police can be outside the theater but not in without probable cause. Wegmans is starting contract talks again on Monday with the Teamsters Union after a 3-week break. The grocery chain and the union have reached agreement on all points of a new contract over the last 6 months, except for one, the pension and wage package. The sides took the 3-week break, and there has been some Teamster picketing. Wegmans wants to replace the statewide Teamsters Conference Pension Fund with its own retirement plan for the 900 Teamsters it employs. The company says its retirement fund is in better fiscal shape than the Teamsters' own, and both sides will benefit. Teamsters don't see it that way. A candidate for president of the union local on his website calls it another big company attacking the rights and benefits of the working man. There's a bit of positive economic news from the state comptroller's office. Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli reports the state collected 10% more cash than expected for the first 5 months of this fiscal year. It's a sign of increasing economic activity in New York. The state collected nearly $70 million more in revenue than predicted. It'll keep on being a two-way race for sheriff of Livingston County this fall. Livingston County Conservative Party's executive committee has named Jim Cesniak the party's nominee for sheriff. Cesniak contested both the Conservative and Republican primaries last week with Sheriff's Department investigator Tom Doherty. Doherty narrowly won the Republican nomination, but after recounts this week, the Conservative primary ended up in a tie. After considering options, including a second vote, the Conservatives' executive committee decided under their rules to break the tie. They decided to go with Cesniak. To the left of the player window, you'll find links to these and other stories, and at the bottom of the CNC News page is links you can use, post news and information straight to us. The next news is as it happens, updates are as necessary, and I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.